Do you have a team who just seems constantly stressed out, always running at the last minute to get things done? Have you ever stopped to reflect on whether or not you might be contributing to those patterns? I see this all the time. Teams who function in constant chaos. Now, I know we've been dealing with COVID, and I know that COVID has thrown in a lot of unknown variables and have, pitched a lot of teams into constant stress. And the reality is that is and continues to be a really stressful factor in our lives. But I see teams who have been in this chaotic state of reactivity for years. COVID has simply amped it up. And sometimes what's happening here is that the leader themselves doesn't know their limits, doesn't share their limits with others who are asking things with them. And that then gets pushed down the line to the team members who are expected to get things done on timelines that are not necessarily realistic. And let's face it, if you are in a middle manager position, you're kind of like the icing on the Oreo, right? Getting squeezed on both sides. You have your employees on one side who need certain things from you and have certain expectations of you. And then you have senior management on the other side who have different expectations and need things from you. And you're just kind of stuck in the middle, trying to navigate these different perspectives and getting pulled in every direction. And part of what your role is as you're juggling this, being pulled in so many directions, is learning to be able to say no to the right person at the right time. Sometimes that's going to be your team members. Sometimes it might have to be to senior leadership. Where it gets messy is when the yes is always given to the senior leaders and the no is always given to the team members. Or even frankly, if the yes is always given to the team members and the no is always given to the senior leaders, that does not work. What's important is to be able to start to recognize when you're making decisions that are going to put your team into a state of chaos and stress in order to please senior leaders, even if your gut tells you that you really need to be saying no. And I'm guessing that you're probably recognizing situations where this has happened, whether it's with you yourself or some of your colleagues. This is a common challenge in middle management. And so I'd like you to start just keeping an eye out on these situations where your team members are really extremely stressed and reflecting on whether there needed to be better limits put on what was accepted in terms of projects that the team is going to manage and the timeline they need to be done on. Now, I'm not saying that, things are always going to be super zen and balanced and that going to work is going to feel like a yoga class at the spa, because that's not the reality of work. And we can't expect that. But trying to keep an eye out on how your team members are doing and communicating that effectively to senior leadership and to your other colleagues within similar positions as your own as you work to coordinate projects is going to really help manage the stress levels of your team members. Now, that's not entirely your responsibility. Your team members have a responsibility on themselves to do what they need to manage their stress. But if you can help set up the situation in a way that isn't putting unrealistic expectations on them, you're already setting them up for some great success.